A young man sat on a windowsill, listening to one of the greatest preachers in history. Then his eyes grew heavy. What happened next would take his life and then bring him back. The city was Troas, on the coast of what is now Turkey. The Apostle Paul was passing through on his final journey to Jerusalem. The believers there gathered on the first day of the week to break bread together, one of the earliest recorded Christian gatherings on a Sunday. Paul was leaving the next day, so he had much to say, and he kept talking long into the night. They met in an upper room on the third floor, packed with people, and lit by many flickering oil lamps. The air grew warm and heavy as the lamps burned and the room filled with listeners. Paul stood and taught, his voice carrying on into the late hours of the night. Among the crowd sat a young man named Eutychus, perched in the open window to get some air in the crowded, lamp-heated room. As the hours stretched on and Paul's sermon continued, sleep began to overtake him. He fought against it, but the pull was too strong. Overcome by deep sleep, Eutychus lost his balance and fell, from the third story, all the way down to the ground below. When the people rushed outside and picked him up, he was dead. Paul went down, threw himself on the young man, and wrapped his arms around him. "Don't be alarmed," he said. "He's alive." It was a miracle. Eutychus, who had fallen to his death, was restored to life through Paul, just as the prophets of old had raised the dead. Then Paul went back upstairs, broke bread, and ate. He kept on talking with them until daylight, and then he left. As for the young man, they took him home alive and were greatly comforted. See, it's easy to read this story and laugh at the boy who fell asleep in church. But look closer, and it's a story about how ordinary human weakness, exhaustion, distraction, even falling asleep at the wrong moment, doesn't put us beyond God's reach. Eutychus fell, and he was raised back up. Sometimes, that's the whole story of grace.